I'm Allendale's Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your midday weather update. Latest surface analysis across the country shows cold air slowly but surely pushing southward. Cloud cover covering most of North and South Dakota, a good chunk of Nebraska through Montana, Wyoming, and we actually have seen some precipitation underneath the clouds. Scattered rain showers down in south central parts of Nebraska. We've had drizzle reported down into northern Kansas, and we've seen pictures of snow flying in parts of Wyoming and in the Badlands of South Dakota. Now, let's throw this right up front. Are you going to see pictures of snow in the next 24 hours? Sure. We're talking about precipitation breaking out along the leading edge of this cold air, running basically from eastern parts of Colorado through northern Kansas into Nebraska, South Dakota, and western Iowa as we go through the overnight tonight and into tomorrow, with temperatures dipping down into the middle part of the 30s, mid to upper 30s, near 40 degrees. We can easily see some light snow flying in there, mixing with rain. This will be what I like to call a warm snow. You can get snowflakes to fly even at 39, 40 degrees very, very easily, because whether or not snowflakes form or something else depends more on what's happening above you in the atmosphere. So we are going to be seeing pictures of snow flying. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be there. Does that say anything about the condition of things out there? No, we're going to continue to rock and roll right along the same lines that we've seen. Temperatures this morning, actual lows bottoming out in northern parts of Montana, eastern Montana, were exactly in line with expectations or even slightly warmer than expectations. So far this air mass is coming in pretty close to how we were looking at it, and definitely on par with what the European was saying. The main time frame to watch out of this is going to be within the next 24 hours, overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. These will be when the coldest temperatures are going to be settling in across the northern plains, North Dakota, South Dakota, and probably into parts of Minnesota. These are also the areas, like we said, that will have cloud cover, so we'll have that insulating blanket. And you know what? If we see snow flying, precipitation flying, rain falling, that helps as well. So there's plenty of things at work here to keep us from the all-important frost line. So we'll be taking a close look at those actual air temperatures tomorrow morning. That map comes out at 7:45 when you have the actual ASOS, so the National Weather Service or NOAA weather reporting stations that have those out, and we'll be able to draw a nice line as to where the coldest air actually made it to. In the meantime, the forecast really has no need to change here short term. Everything's kind of working out as anticipated. The next thing to watch will be this precipitation overnight tonight and through the first part of the day tomorrow. I think there will be some question marks as to how long that wants to actually linger as well. Do we see that linger through the day tomorrow over parts of the region, or do we see that kind of back up a little bit? Are we able to get it on out of here a little quicker? A lot of that, I think, depends on just how strong the flow is with this cold air, this high-pressure dome that comes into the middle part of the country. Is it the kind of kicks things out and clears us out and gets us well on our mighty way, or is it kind of a slow, non-mixing kind of scenario where the atmosphere doesn't see much stirring top to bottom? So that's going to be the next thing. After we get this moisture out, it really looks to me like we're going to be mostly dry through the next week. I'm very curious to see how the models are trying to change or adapt to this batch of moisture that wants to come in ahead of the next high-pressure dome around Tuesday of next week. It really looks to me like certain models, and the GFS is one of them, is trying to ramp this up more than what it probably is. Keep in mind, we will have just gotten done with a very cold air mass coming in. Cold air cannot hold near as much moisture as warm air. So that's part of the reason why we're getting this moisture that's going to ring out in rain or snow form or what have you across the middle of the country as this first batch of cold air comes in. So you've already got a drier, by comparison, air mass in here, and then you're going to bring another dry, high-pressure dome in. I think that the precipitation potential for late Monday through Tuesday of next week across the Corn Belt is probably just a little bit overrated. But we'll have to see as we get closer to the event how things work. I'm looking at a mostly dry week next week. The next good front still looks to be on track for late the 19th into the 20th. If we've seen anything out of the model guidance over the past 3 to 4 runs, European and the GFS combined, is they want to stair-step that system back. They kind of nudge it back 12, 18 hours each run. So now, a couple days ago, we were talking about the potential of this front showing up, 17th, 18th. Now, honestly, the best rains aren't going to be until close to the 20th, 21st, 22nd time frame, but they're still there. And the thing is, what I'm kind of keying on here is they're still in the 1 to 2 inch range and maybe slightly heavier than that in spots. And so I go back to what we were talking about yesterday, both in the online write-up and at midday. Any more rain in a large part of the Corn Belt right now, from now through the end of the month, is not needed and actually not wanted. So that 1 to 2 inches, should it come together the way we're seeing it right now, I would look at that as a little bit of a detriment to the overall scenario. Now, is it as bad as if we were talking about 2 to 4 inch rains coming? No, of course not. But right now, I really would like to see that frontal boundary lose some steam as it comes together. The agreement on the models as to there being a front there and the scope of it right now would say that that's probably a pipe dream to try and see if we can get that to go away. But it bears watching nonetheless. Otherwise, no significant changes through the extended forecast period as well. We've got a couple of waves that try and come in. Actually, we may need to look for some cues out of the tropics going forward. We're seeing the tropics starting to get a little bit more active, both in the Gulf and out farther in the Atlantic. So far, nothing that really looks like it wants to make a good run at the U.S., but specifically this Gulf of Mexico moisture. If we get a bit more of this to surge northward, that too could throw more moisture into the scenario up in the Corn Belt. So we're going to watch the tropics very, very close. But for right now, short term, all eyes are on the cold air in the next 24 hours. We'll update you as we see it happening. Stay tuned. If you have any questions in the meantime, give us a call at Allendale. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.